Hi, this is Cheryl for Cut at Home. Today I wanted to show you a die cutting and embossing machine, one that you may not have seen in action before, but I thought it was a good chance to show you this. It's the Spellbinders Grand Calibur. I'm a little late in showing you this because Spellbinders has recently released a new edition of this machine. It now comes in a blue color, and they've changed some of the internal workings to make it a little bit better. But by and large, it's the same machine. So while I'm demoing for you on the old machine, the way it operates and the things that it can do are virtually the same between the old machine and the new. It's super easy to use. It's a plastic machine. It's reasonably lightweight, which is always nice. Setup, there's not much to do there on setup. Normally you would want to use it on a flat surface. The table I'm demonstrating on today is a little bit knobby, so my suction device isn't going to attach as it should. But normally your first step is to throw this lever and activate that suction. When you do that, the Grand Calibur stays in place. It's not moving. Now you'll see it moving around on me today, again, because I don't have a flat surface. But when I have this on my countertop, that baby isn't moving anywhere, so I have no struggles with the machine moving even when I'm cranking the tightest of sandwiches. The second thing I need to do is to pull out this little tray. That's it. I'm done. I'm set up and I'm good to go. Now the Grand Calibur comes with a set of plates that you use for your cutting and embossing needs. They come in this 8.5 by 12 size. They're a little bit big to show you on camera, but I want you to see this. You can truly cut 8.5 by 11 paper in this machine, which is absolutely awesome to be able to do that. You can use your bigger dies, and you can see where some of the dies I've used here have taken up way more than half my plate. Or you can use it to cut multiple dies at once so you don't have to crank things through that machine quite so fast. Now, one of the options that's available for the machine is to purchase some smaller plates. They call them junior plates, and that's what I'm going to be working with today because I can get them on camera a little easier. These are 8.5 by 6 inches, and so they'll handle most of your die cutting needs. This is what I use most of the time, is my junior plates, and they're just perfect. So we start with a gray base plate. They're different colors. They're numbered and identified for you, so your sandwiches are super easy. So again, we start with our base plate. I'm going to put the die face up, so my cutting side is up on this, on the base plate. I'm going to stack my cardstock on top of that. I'm going to add to that my cutting plate. And you can see I've been cutting on my cutting plate. It's typical cutting plate. It's got the cuts in it, but it's okay. I find the Spellbinders cut plates last fairly long time. I recently replaced this. The one before I'd had, oh gosh, 1.5 years, possibly 2 years. But all I'm going to do is lay these in the tray, and then I'm going to crank them through the machine. Again, in the normal scheme of things, you wouldn't see the table moving. You wouldn't see me having to hold the machine down because the suction device would do that for me. But it's very simple. Now at this point, I'm just going to carefully lift off my cutting plate and see how I'm doing there with the cuts. Now again, I picked a fairly intricate die here. This is one of the new Spellbinders Bow Elegance dies. So it's very pretty, very intricate. It's Spellbinders, so we know locked in there someplace is that beautiful level of embossed detail that they add to all of their dies. So we want to take the extra step and emboss that. Now to do that, it's very easy. There's a rubber mat that comes with the machine or with the junior plate set, either one. So you lay that over top, and then you add your pink embossing plate. That's all. One more time through the machine. and we're good to go. Now at this point I find it easier to flip it over, so I've got my base plate on top, and I'm just going to lift that off the top. Things get a little sticky sometimes with the tan embossing mat. It's a rubber mat is all. It's just the nature of the rubber once it's been pressed through that machine. So I'm just going to grab and lift up my die. Sometimes the cut and embossed image will come right up with it, and other times it'll stick to the mat and you'll have to remove it from there. But very, very simple. Again, I've got a fairly intricate die, so I'm going to be a little careful in how I remove this so that I don't lose any of my little arms and legs there. But it comes out very, very simply. And there we go. We've got the beautiful cut and embossed image. All of that beautiful Spellbinders detail is unlocked. You know, there's no better machine to use with the Spellbinders dies than the Grand Calibur. They're made to work together just like hand in glove. And so you get just a beautiful, beautiful result in doing that. But that's how simple it is to use the Grand Calibur. A couple of things that I really appreciate about the machine, again, just ease of use. The fact that it's lighter weight, it almost feels like a toy sometimes. The crank over on the side, let me move this over for a minute and show you. This is a larger diameter, and so for people like me who have arthritis in their hands, you don't have to grip it so tightly to use it, and so it's less painful when you're having those arthritis flares. So it's really kind of nice from that perspective. Again, a very super easy machine to use. When you're finished with it, it's just push back the tray, deactivate the suction mechanism, and you can put your machine back in storage. Super, super easy. Let's take a quick look at some other things that I cut and embossed with the Grand Calibur. This is, I think, snowflake view borders, so it's very, very pretty, very detailed, but you get all of the detail all of the time. This is a set of ovals that I cut, very delicate, but each one of them comes out perfectly the first time. I rarely have to do anything more in this machine with my very fine detailed dies except to run it back through a second time to make sure everything's cut. But most everything cuts for me on the first time, one time through for embossing, and I'm done, and I have the gorgeous level of Spellbinder detail. Look at how some of these feathers turned out. The feather die set is another newer Spellbinder set, but lots of beautiful detail in the cut and embossing of these. So lots and lots of fun projects. Again, if you've had Spellbinders in the past, sometimes you look at them and say, I'm not sure that's exactly the way that was supposed to work. I'm not sure I'm getting that same level of detail. Well, one key is by using the Grand Calibur. It also embosses very nicely. For purposes of embossing, there's a secondary plate that you need to purchase, and sorry, mine is absolutely dusty here, I don't know why, but it's the raspberry adapter plate. This is used with those Spellbinders embossing folders, as well as the regular ones. This is one of the embossabilities, so you know they're thicker than a standard embossing folder. They also have deeper and finer detail typically than others. So again, very, very easy to use. Here's a couple of examples of things that I embossed, but look at that level. Actually, I think that one's upside down, sorry. Look at that level of detail that's available. It's absolutely gorgeous. Here's the doily one that I just showed you the folder for. Again, I've got all the beautiful gridded background back here, the gorgeous, gorgeous doily here in the foreground. Absolutely beautiful. Now the Grand Calibur will also work for your standard folders. This is a Sizzix folder. You can see all the smiles there. So it works great. It's just a super, super easy, very, very versatile machine to work with. Again, with having that wide platform where I can run 8.5-inch wide things through, and the length with the standard or Grand Grand Calibur plates. They're 8.5 by 12. You can fit a full 8.5 by 11 sheet in here. So your biggest embossing folders are going to go through with no problem whatsoever. It's just a great little powerhouse, and I think that you'll enjoy using it. Again, it works with the wafer thin dies only. It's not going to cut your thicker dies, but what it does so very well. Again, even the super fine detailed ones, it doesn't disappoint. It's a great machine. So that's the Spellbinders Grand Calibur. Again, keep in mind it's now available in the blue color, but the operation is substantially the same as what I've shown you here today with my older red one. I know you'll enjoy the machine. Thanks for watching. Bye.